is your current listings. You go to the listings menu, there's an enter new listing, and then there's a view revise your listings. We're just going to briefly cover the enter new listing. Just want to point out a couple of things. So when you enter new listing, it's going to come into this page here. The first thing it's going to ask you for is the property type and what county the listing is in. And the reason we're doing that is because then you can search the county records to find that property. So once you put the county in, you click search county records, and now we're going to type in the address. This is searching Remind's database now, so this is going out and searching the county records. It'll find whatever matches or comes close. Once you find the listing in question, you just hit the select button, and now all the data that we would pull from a tax record will come over into our listing. The next step, it asks you to place the pin on the map, and this is important. When you click there, the system will say, okay, according to my records, this is where that property is. Now, sometimes when you do that, you'll notice it's not very often nowadays, but let's say that for some reason it's showing the property on this side of the road, and you know for a fact it's actually this property here. If you need to adjust it, you can. A better example might be when it's a brand new build. Sometimes when you click here, it won't be able to place the pin because it doesn't have the longitude and latitude, in which case you could add the pin. So once you're happy with that, and it's important that this is correct because it won't show up in a map search if it isn't, and then you click continue to the next page. So the next page is going to have all those umpteen fields for you to fill out. Anything that's in red with an asterisk, anything that's in red basically is a required field. Make sure to read any text that's in red. Those are very important messages from your MLS about rules. So you should read them. We're not going to go through everything here. Most of this data should be familiar to you because it's the same as what you had before. But we did add a couple of new things. One of the fields that the MLS added is property faces. So we're going to just find it. So now there's a new field when you're entering the listing where you can put in what way the property faces. Is it west facing, south facing? Obviously there's nothing in your current listings because this field didn't exist before, but moving forward, hopefully people will start filling it in, and in about a year's time, that's probably good enough data that you could search on. But for now, if you know it, you should fill it in. Another thing to note on our listing input is we have a thing called conditional fields. And the only reason I want to point this out is you'll notice when you're filling out your listing, depending on the answers you give to a particular question, other questions might pop up, or vice versa. So if you look at this example, MLS circulation is set to yes, and it's got realtor.com and all of these fields. If I set it to no, all those fields go away. It's dynamic. So we only show you fields based on what you're answering. So you may put something in and see a whole bunch of fields pop up or go away depending on what you've answered. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just listing agreement.
Oh yes. So now one of the big changes is not to the rule. The rule still is that you have to have your listing agreement into the MLS within 2 days of the listing going on. But now in our system, when you're ready to submit your listing, you will be prompted with a page that looks like this. You can actually attach your own listing agreement now. So if you have it, you can upload it, and then it's there. Now if you don't happen to have it ready, you can hit cancel and still submit your listing, and you still have 2 days. But if you have it handy, you might as well get it in there right away.
So you don't have to use theirs.
You don't have to fax it into them. And when you upload your listing agreement, the staff gets an email right away so they know you're in compliance because they know that you've already uploaded it. Okay?
And it will be private. It's not available to anyone else to see. It's still, the rules still apply. So you only the staff and you would be able to see the listing agreement and any other documents.
Now let me show you where you go to add things to your current listings. Did you have
Yeah, once you've already submitted, if you don't have the document when you submit it, but you want to submit it later on, how do you get there?
That's exactly what I'm going for right now. Okay, so after the fact now, you've got listings in the system and you need to revise them, and that could be just adding a document. If you go to the listings, there's a view revise your listings. And when you click here, all of the listings you have ownership rights for will show here. And right beside the listing number, there's a little pencil. If you click on that, it takes you to the revise listing menu. And here's where you can add your open houses, upload your pictures, add documents, all of it, change your prices, change statuses. If you need to change amenities, you click on listing information. This will take you back into your listing and let you do all that. Okay?
Should we show them how to upload pictures for me?
Yes. So if you want to upload pictures, for example, you click there. It says upload pictures. It'll bring you to this. Skip that. That's just a video. And then you just basically click add photos and go out and find your photos and drag them and then upload them. You can now upload up to 99 pictures per listing.
Can you add them as incompletes like before?
That's a good example. Yes. Now, if you're doing an incomplete listing, then in the previous screen, go into listing input. I don't know. Actually, yeah, let's go to incomplete. You can save a listing as incomplete. So if you were go into the actual listing itself. Go to listing information. Just want to show them where they save that. So when you're in the listing itself, one of the options you have, instead of hitting submit, you'd say save as incomplete. And then you can attach documents and you can attach lists, you can attach your pictures and get it all ready to go. And then when you're ready, you just submit it. Okay?
Now you showed us how to do a CMA by locating the property when it already existed in the system. If it wasn't in the system.
If it wasn't, okay, then all you do is, let's go to carts and just pick some listings. If it wasn't already in the system, you would obviously do searches to find your comps, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to do that. So first of all, let's just say these are my comps.
Okay.
I click on CMA.
Okay, so it's the same way as we
Same
did
way.
as we did
The only
before.
difference is I click CMA package and go. The only difference is when I get to the subject property, I have to upload it at that point. That's the only difference.
Okay.
Okay? All right, for those of you here that may be office managers, brokers, or even assistants that have office rights, I just want to point out, under the admin menu, if you have office rights, there is a menu down here called the office menu. This is where you would go to do maintenance for your office. So at the top here are all your office settings. This is where you can upload your office logo, etc. There's where you manage your agent's access rights. Here's where you would manage all your office listings and incomplete listings. And here's where you run all your production and inventory reports, etc. So everything to do with maintaining your office is under the office menu on the admin menu, okay? You will not see that menu if you don't have office rights. Okay, we're winding down. The only last thing we want to talk about is the mobile app. Now, our mobile app works on Android or Apple. We're just showing you Google Play Store here just to show you what to look for. You search for CJMLS. Just make sure you pick the one that says Rapattoni Corporation, because there's another one in there which is CoreLogic, but you want this one. We're going to sort of emulate what the mobile site looks like here. By the way, anytime you want to see the mobile version of the system, if you're on the desktop, there's a link at the bottom that will switch you to the mobile site. You click on that, it'll take you to the app. So if you want to, and vice versa, if you're on a something other than a phone, you can use the desktop version on an iPad as well if you wish. So we're just pretending it's on our phone. If it's on our phone, this is what it's going to look like. So at the very top, you can search for an address or a listing, and if you click this button here, now you have to have location services turned on your device. We don't have it turned on at the moment, but if we did, there'd be a little link here, and you click there. This is the Find Me, so if you click that, it'll find you and show you listings around it. This first page has everything to do with your searches. Map search, we already looked at that. Standard search, listing number, hot sheets, recent searches, saved searches. This is the same. These are the same searches that were on your desktop. Contacts is the next one over. That's where you go to find your contacts or look up other agents and offices. Listings. This is where you go to get to your listing cards. or your listings. Now, if you're out on the road with the app, you can go to your listings, you can change the price, you can change the marketing remarks, you can change the status, and you can even upload photos from your phone to your listing straight from here. Okay? Links will just take you to those third parties that we talked about. So if you needed to jump into showing time, you could click it from here.
I just have a quick question. I know that like with the old apps, like Realist was like really difficult to use, like if I need like taxes and stuff. Like so with Remine, is that gonna be like a separate app that we would have to like download, and is it like mobile friendly?
I know nothing about Remine, I'll have to put that to
Yes,
Frank.
there is a Remind app,
And is it like
and it's
mobile friendly?
extremely mobile friendly.
Not like Realist.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's the tax system which we're not part of. Okay, and then the admin menu is where you can go to look at your profile. This is important. This is where you go to manage your devices. You're allowed to have the app on up to 2 devices. So if you get a new iPad and and you try and download it to a third device, it won't let you. This is where you would go in to get rid of the old one and put the new one in. Let's just quickly look at searching on here. It should start looking familiar because it's based on the map search that we covered earlier. So you'll notice the search panel, that's exactly the same search panel we looked at when we were on the map when we added basement type. That's it, it's the same search. If you hit close, it'll take you to the map itself. If you wanted to draw, or actually let's just click on the pin. So if you click on the pin, this should all look familiar. This is exactly what we were doing on the map search. There's your street view, etc. If you click on more, here's your draw options, your layers. So the only difference between the app and the interactive map search is on the interactive map your actions are on the top. On the app, the actions are under the more button. But everything else works exactly the same way. So you've got the draw, the share. If you're on your mobile app and you click on share, not only can you email, but you can also text out a listing. Okay, so again, best thing to do is just play with it. Just as if you want to switch between the map view and a list view, you just click up here and it switches between map and list. And you can check off your listings, and if you want to email them out, for example, check a few off, go to the more button and you would choose share and then you could email. So it's very straightforward, you just have to play with it. So that's the mobile app. And if we go back to the desktop, just as a reminder, actually you can get to this on the app as well. If you go to help, go to the learning center, one of the categories, actually don't yet, go to one of the categories there is mobile, right there. And there are all of these things that will walk you through everything you need to know. Most of the videos are less than 3 minutes long and it'll show you how to do it. Okay, so any questions?